Hey, then you made it back. Good. Because tonight's stories are darker than usual, and some of them are still unsolved. So before we start, make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss what comes next. And if you're brave enough, leave a comment after this video. Let's see who's still watching. Till the end.
Behind me is Joe Metheny, and he would grind up humans as hamburgers and sell them at his stall. What else could Joe Metheny be selling? He was selling meth. He would lure women in the promise of giving them drugs and then grind them up, dismember them, and sell them as hamburgers later on. And yes, he would also put them through a meat grinder. He confessed to the killing of 13 people, so people were unknowingly eating human hamburgers on the side of a road stall. However, he was only convicted for 2 or 3 killings. He would target ladies of the night because usually these people were drug addicts back where he was, and they were a vulnerable population that was very easy to manipulate. He said he got a rush out of killing these people too. He would be sentenced to life in prison. He would later die in his cell in about 2016 or 2017. It was only one victim that led to his capture. Instead of being like the others not fighting back, she actually tried to escape and managed to actually successfully escape. Because of that, they got an accurate report on who this was and linked it right back to him for all these killings. This was no small dude. This guy was like 6'1", 300 pounds. If Rita Kemper didn't escape, he would not have been caught. He also admitted to tying people up with weight and throwing them into a river. Maybe this is what Sweeney Todd was based on.
It's strange, isn't it? How evil hides behind the most ordinary things. A roadside food stall, the smell of grilled meat, a friendly smile. People paid for lunch and walked away with someone's nightmare inside them. There's something deeply human about Joe Metheny's story, and that's what makes it terrifying. Not the blood, not the grinder, but the fact that he wasn't a monster from a storybook. He was a man, flesh and bone, just like everyone else who stopped to buy a burger that day. Evil doesn't always roar. Sometimes it sizzles quietly on a frying pan, blending in with the smell of smoke and grease. And maybe that's the real horror, that we can never truly tell what's behind the smile of the man handing us our food.
In 1987, the couple woke up to a masked man standing at the foot of their bed at roughly 4 a.m. He reached into his duffel bag and pulled out 4 sets of handcuffs before demanding that they lie on their stomach and cuff their wrists and ankles. He whispered, "Be quiet and don't move or I'll hurt someone." Since he was armed, the couple had no choice but to comply. The intruder then left the master bedroom and gently woke up their 7-year-old son and 11-year-old daughter. He then calmly walked them back to their parents' bedroom. He seemed to be confidently and precisely following an exact set of steps, although at this point, the family was still unaware of his motive. Once he rounded up all the family members in the master bedroom, he finally communicated his plan. He stated that this was a simple robbery and asked for clothes, money, and food. But the family had a bad feeling. After all, this seemed like a lot of work just for a simple burglary. However, the parents had no choice but to comply. The intruder taped their mouth shut and blindfolded the kids before forcing the parents into their wardrobe and barricading it shut with furniture. He then used their bedroom's phone to make a call, but his conversation was largely unintelligible. He then took the daughter to a separate room and beat her. He finally left the home through the front door at about 6 a.m., meaning that this entire ordeal lasted about 2 hours.
You know what's disturbing about this story? It's not just what happened, it's how it happened. The calmness, the precision, the silence between every movement. Whoever he wasn't improvising. He was following a ritual, like he'd done it before, like he enjoyed doing it before. And the worst part? He didn't come for money, he never does. People like him feed on fear. On that moment, when you realize your home isn't safe, your locks don't matter, and the person standing over you already knows every move you'll make. Monsters aren't always loud. Some just breathe softly in the dark, waiting for the clock to hit 4 a.m. again.
This autistic boy has been missing for weeks in New York, and his own mother claims she doesn't have a son. Sound strange? It gets so much worse. On September 25, 2025, a welfare check was called to a small apartment in Brownsville, Brooklyn, for 11-year-old Jacob Pritchett. When police and child services finally gained access, his 50-year-old mother met them with that single chilling statement: "I don't have a son." The apartment was a ghost scene, almost completely empty with no food or children's clothes. The only sign of Jacob was a set of toys, perfectly aligned but clearly unused, a sinister effort to erase his existence. After they ransacked the house, they found his birth certificate, proving she was his mother. The investigation turned dark when agents discovered discovered blood inside the refrigerator, immediately sealing the home as a crime scene. Neighbors told investigators that Jacob was a boy who lived his life through his window, and that no one had seen him for nearly 2 months. They also recalled a strong, foul odor coming from a dumpster behind the building just days before the police showed up. The search for Jacob Pritchett then took a desperate turn, moving over 300 miles away to the High Acres landfill, as authorities began the grim task of searching for a small body in a mountain of trash. Due to her bizarre behavior, Jacob's mother was taken for a psychiatric evaluation and has not been charged with a crime. To this day, Jacob Pritchett is still officially missing. Follow for updates as this disturbing case unfolds.
You know, stories like this hit differently. They're not urban legends, not whispered myths told around a campfire. They're real, too real. What's unsettling isn't just the horror of what might have happened to Jacob. It's the emptiness that surrounds it. A mother saying she doesn't have a son, that's not just denial, that's something broken, something hollow. It's as if she's trying to erase him, not just from her life, but from the world entirely. The clean apartment, the untouched toys, the silence. It all feels deliberate, like someone wanted to create the illusion that Jacob never existed. And yet, he did. He played, he laughed, he existed in that small, windowed world of his, watching life go by from behind glass. And now the only trace of him is a name on a birth certificate and the faint smell of something gone terribly wrong.
In 2000, 2 men entered a Wendy's just before closing time. Without a moment of hesitation, they slipped behind the counter and made their way straight to the manager's office, as if they'd done it before. There, they forced the manager to call in all of his employees under the lie of an urgent meeting. Unsuspecting and obedient, the 6 employees gathered, only to be met with guns drawn and no way out. At gunpoint, the manager and his staff were marched into the restaurant's walk-in freezer. Inside, they were bound, gagged, and forced to the ground. Then, without warning, the silence was shattered by gunfire. A barrage of bullets echoed off the steel walls, leaving 5 of the 7 victims dead. One of the survivors, Patricio Castro, barely clinging to life, summoned every ounce of strength he had and managed to dial 911. Within 48 hours, the 2 perpetrators were tracked down and arrested. The most chilling detail? One of them was a former employee of that very Wendy's. Both men were sentenced to death.
You know what's really scary about this story? It's not the shooting. It's the fact that one of those killers used to work there. He knew everyone. He probably laughed with them, shared fries, maybe even got invited to hang out after work. And then one night, he just walked in and turned it all into a nightmare. That's what messes with your head. How fast someone you trust can flip. How a normal place can suddenly become the last place you ever see. It's not about monsters hiding in the dark anymore. It's about the ones standing right next to you, smiling like nothing's wrong. And if you're still here, that means you actually watched till the end. And that means a lot to me. I'm just starting out, still figuring out how to make these stories hit harder, creep deeper, and keep you watching. So if you've got a second, drop a like and tell me in the comments what I can do to make my videos better. More mystery, more real stories. I read everything you write. And yeah, your feedback could shape the next story. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check what's behind you before you go.